Okay, I just saw the first episode of Blue Eye Samurai. The second show I've started reviewing. This is not an anime officially, but it's kind of in the style of anime. Japanese culture for sure. Really good show so far. And interesting because I only have one show to compare it to, Vinland Saga, which I watched. The animation is much better, much more impressive animation. The story is much more classic for me as an American. It looks more like a story that I've seen before. The style of story I've seen before. If you saw my reviews before, you know I'm terrible with names, so forgive me. It's going to take me forever to learn everyone's names in this show. But the main character, whose name I don't know, the blue-eyed person, they start out getting chased by some boys, and this person, this boy, has blue eyes. He is mixed race. Come to find out, his father is white and raped his mother. At least that's what they alluded to. And everyone pretty much thinks of him as a monster, including himself. In the first first part, and this show kind of divides it into two, is showing this adult samurai, the blue-eyed samurai person. I don't know how to name him, but they show him on a quest to find the person who found so his father was a member of this group of four white men who had come, and he basically wants to kill all four white men. So they show him kind of going on this quest to look for this person. And at the same time, they go back and forth and show his childhood and how he came to be what he was, this excellent swordsman. So it starts out with him, with these boys chasing him, and they're about to beat him up, but this asteroid hits. This metallic asteroid hits, and there's a blind guy ends up trying to lift this asteroid. The boys run away. They try to beat him up, and then they run away when they see the asteroid hit. He goes toward the asteroid, sees this blind man trying to lift it, helps him. So he follows the blind man home, and ends up being his the blind man ends up being his mentor. He ends up staying with him. He learns how to fight. The blind man makes swords. He's trying to forge this metal into a sword. Can't ever do it. Can't do anything with this metal. No matter how much he beats on it and heats it up and whatever, he can't forge it into anything. And the samurai person says maybe the metal doesn't want to be a sword, and the older man says all metals want to be a sword. So anyway, he makes other swords, and the boy wants to learn how to be a swordsman, so he lets him practice at night. He also, as he's making swords, when he's first making swords as a young boy, he makes these swords, and the guy's like, these are basically good enough to be. This is good enough to be a kitchen knife. He says, make a bunch of kitchen knives, and then maybe one day you'll be ready to make a sword. I think 100 or 1,000 kitchen knives, whatever the number was, and maybe you'll be ready to make a sword. Anyway, it's kind of just going through the process of this person growing up under this blind man. Who doesn't judge him because he doesn't see his eyes. Go back to, it's hard to tell the story. I apologize, I'm all over the place, but the story is all over the place, kind of. You see the samurai in an eatery, being served by this young man with no arms. He's got two nubs, and as he's being served, there's a gentleman there who has these two women he's bought, and he's being very belligerent with them, and he ends up getting mad because the guy with the nubs spills something on him. So he pulls a gun on him, this really exotic gun on him. The samurai jumps in front of him and is like, starts talking to him about the gun, and they end up facing off, and the guy's like, you're gonna use your sword against my gun. And he's like, you don't deserve my sword. Grabs another sword. Guy tries to shoot him. He slices off the tip of the sword a couple of the guy's fingers. Pretty brutal. Somehow his glasses come off. They see, because he has these shaded glasses where you can't see the color of his eyes. The glasses come off. The guy sees he has blue eyes, and he insults him. Why would you insult somebody who just sliced off your fingers and the tip of your gun? He insults him. Guy went back, sliced a couple more fingers off, and then walked off. But the point was, with the gun, he wanted to find out. The samurai wanted to find out where he got the gun. As he's going on this quest to find these four men who were apologize for the dog barking. His next door neighbor. He's trying to find these four men, one of which is his father. So they find the gun. So he tells them where he got the gun, and he heads to that town. As he's going there, the guy with the nubs follows him. He wants to, basically become a samurai, which I don't know how you're going to do that with no hands, no fingers, but, the samurai is annoyed, as you would imagine, and ties him up to the tree and just leaves him there. So he goes into this town, and as he's going into the town, the guy's still tied up in the tree. You see him pass by, but right before, as he's going into town, you have to pass this checkpoint. And as he's going through this checkpoint, he comes across the people in front of him is a woman and her child, and she's trying to get in with a pass that is her husband's, but she's not allowed in. So she's crying, and the samurai pays and goes right in. It's no big deal. Goes in and goes into this school that this training school. Before they get to the school, sorry, the guy with the nubs pops back up. He had gotten free, pops back up, and it was right after he had come to this place that he thought was the school, but it ended up being a brothel. These women are trying to get him to go into the brothel. And he's like, I'm good. I'm just trying to get to where I got to go. So they give him directions. He sees the guy with the nubs. He goes back to the ladies in the school, and he's like, how much for one night? And they tell him, and he goes, how much for 3? So then you see the guy in there, never been with a woman before, and these 2 women come in naked and, start with him. They don't do anything, don't show anything. They do show the women there with no clothes on, teaching them about breasts and butts and stuff. So that was different. So he's there, and the samurai goes to the school and wants to meet the master of the school. They tell him nobody meets the master, and then what they end up doing is challenging him. And it's like a series of challenges. This is like something straight out of a video game. So he beats the first group of people, beats the next group of people. He's got, they've got these wooden swords for practice. And the best line in the whole episode comes when he's beat like 2 or 3 levels of these people, and then these guys come out with actual swords, and they say, are you just gonna play with this toy sword, or are you gonna draw your real sword? And he says something to the effect of, if I do that, you'll die. Great line. So he whips all these people, and the master ends up coming out. Turns out that it was the master's brother who was selling these arms, who was selling these guns, who the samurai was trying to reach. And they were blown away by the fact that they wanted to, that he went through all that trouble to reach this guy. So find out about him, so they give him the directions. And he goes off. Before he goes off, the last person he fights, going back a little bit, there is a princess who's coming into town who is getting married to this young man, or wants to get married to this young man, asks her father if she can, because he wants her to marry somebody else, and she wants to marry this person who's not noble, but he's a warrior. Father ends up acceding, and it turns out this warrior is the head of the young boys, of course, who were attacking the samurai, the blue-eyed samurai guy, at the very beginning. So they actually duel with the swords. And it goes, back and forth a little bit. The samurai guy is doing most of the winning, and in the end, he stops. That's how he's getting ready to slit his throat, and then the master of the school comes out, and that's how he ends up meeting the master. Anyway, when he's getting ready to leave, after he finds out the information about the brother, the guy from his childhood says, "You're still a dog." Again, why would you do this to somebody who just whipped you? So he runs back, and then the screen goes blank. You don't see what happened. You just hear him grunt or something like that. Turns out he whopped his ponytail off, which of course is dishonorable. And they show him there at the end with his ponytail off, and everybody kind of turns their back on him because he's disgraced. So of course that's going to be a thing, I'm sure. The show ends with quite a few different things, but the main thing that the show ends with is they go back to the samurai leaving the old man as an adult right before he's about to go on his quest, and the old man doesn't want him to go, and they kind of have words a little bit, and then he says, "Look, if you're going to go, you need to take a sword," and the samurai says, "I already have one," and he clanks the sword on the ground, and of course the samurai had figured out how to forge that rock they found together into a sword. So the blind man is stunned, and you got to imagine he was telling him he wasn't ready. When he found that out, you got to imagine they at least changed his mind a little bit. Anyway, this was all over the place. I hope every episode isn't like this. They're also longer than I'm used to. This episode was an hour long, and I instructed my son that I didn't want to watch anything longer than 30 minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and watch this. It's only 8 episodes, and none of the episodes are an hour. It looks like they're 30 to 45 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and finish watching this. It's a good show. It's interesting. I liked Vinland Saga because it was different. This is a storyline that I have seen before. But it's very well done so far. I'm interested to see where it goes, but again, I don't want to compare it too much to Vinland Saga. It's just it's the only anime I've ever seen, only style of animation like this that I've seen. It's a good show. Animation is amazing. I like the character. I like the humor of the main character. Very much in line with my style of humor. The show at the end shows a lot of what's about to happen, and the guy he's going after, the brother, sends these 4 riders after him. Now I gotta wonder if the 4 riders are attached to the 4 white men, if they're the same. And of course there was the big reveal, which didn't seem like a big reveal to me, that the samurai is a woman, not a man. She stood there naked in front of the guy with the nubs, who popped back up again after, I guess, 3 days with the women at the brothel. But it ends up being a woman, and that's, it kind of seemed like it to me anyway the whole time. So it wasn't a huge reveal to me, but I'm sure that's going to add to the disgrace and stuff because of the culture and the way they treat women in that culture. As the samurai was leaving back out and saw the woman and her child in the cold crying, the samurai, dropped a golden comb she had been using to pin her hair, dropped it down by them and walked off. So you got to imagine it's worth some money to help them out. Anyway, the main character's great. I like the main character a lot. And the little guy with the nubs is a funny little addition. The samurai says something along the lines of a slight breeze can throw a bird off course. You're a typhoon. And she's trying to focus on revenge. She's not interested. She says in the end she's not interested in money or gold or power or prestige. She just wants satisfaction. So you got to imagine this guy is going to throw a wrench into that. Anyway, good show. It's interesting. I don't want to go too long with this review. But a couple of days I'll be watching episode 2, and we'll see how that goes.